Hi everybody. We this morning are going to go over bike setup. So we have Gabe here to help us. I'm going to go over how you can correctly set up your bike for your body, especially if you have a bike at home. One of our rentals, I already set you up whenever I deliver it. But if you had just recently bought your own bike at home, you can use this video to ensure that your setup is correct. We're going to start with standing next to your bike, facing forward. The leg that's closest to the bike will lift up so that the thigh is parallel to the ground. We will move the seat height up to your hips. For most bikes, it means you're going to untwist this back lever, pull it out, and rise the saddle up till it is about the level of your lifted leg, which would be hip height. You can screw that back in, and then we're going to come onto our bikes to double check that height. He's taking a seat here, and he's going to take his foot all the way down, one foot. And when the foot is at the bottom, we want a slight bend in the knee. So you can see here, he has a slight bend in the knee. However, if you look at his foot, it's not flat to the ground. So we are actually going to lower his seat just a little bit. This would be an example of if your seat was a little bit too high. Every pedal stroke would cause you to hyperextend your knee. Okay, go ahead and sit back on there, please, Gabe. Thank you. And now we can see that he has a bend in his knee. His foot is flat, parallel to the ground. Next, we're going to check the seats and how much forward or back it should be. So Gabe's going to bring his foot to the most forward that he can. This is going to, if you take your foot away for a second but keep the pedal where it is, bring this arm bar that the pedal is attached to parallel to the ground. Go ahead and place your foot back there. So for most bikes, you're going to have a cage that will wrap around your shoe. For my bike here, my setup, my purpose is I only have clip pedals. If you have that cage, I'll use that as a reference point. If you don't, then you're going to think about the ball of your foot. So that first knuckles of the foot there. And if you have a yoga strap or a lanyard with keys, it can be really helpful, especially if you're setting this up by yourself at home. You would take your strap or your lanyard with keys, and you're going to put it at the very bottom of your knee here. So not up at the top, this very bottom part right here. You would hold it there, and you would want this strap end or your keys. If you're using a strap, let me get it around here. If you're using a strap, I like to put the D-rings so that they are what weighs the strap down, so I can make sure it's falling directly down. You would want the D-rings to fall about the ball of your foot. If you have that toe cage, it's gonna line up with the back of the cage, okay? So like the very back where the strap threads through the plastic. So Gabe is pretty good here. However, we could move his knee forward a little bit. So go ahead and jump off for me, please. So for most bikes, again, they're going to have a system where you're going to unscrew, pull out, shift it forward. Oh, yeah. It's early. All right, so pull it out, shift it forward. My bike has little holes that it falls into. Not all bikes have that. You'll tighten that back up. Make sure that these are both tight before you start your ride on your bike. Go ahead and jump back on. We will double check that setup. All right. So again, if we take our strap or lanyard and hold it at the bottom of the knee, much better. We can see now that the D-ring falls a little bit further back on his foot, which is going to be the ball of his foot or the part of your shoe that hits the floor before the toe. All right. Next, we're going to move on to our handlebars. So go ahead and bring your hands to your handlebars. Awesome. And we want to see a little bit of bend through the elbows, okay? So if your bike's handlebars move forward and back, then you want to move them as close to you so that you have just a tiny bend in your elbows. We don't want to hyperextend, lock out the elbows while we're riding. And then as far as up and down, it's whatever you feel comfortable with. When you first start out cycling, you may want the handlebars to be a little bit higher so that you are not leaning forward and putting undue weight and stress onto your wrists and your hands. The higher it is, the more you're going to be able to shift that weight back into your pedals, into your feet. As you feel more comfortable, of course, you can lower the handlebars back down, but the height of the handlebars is really dependent on how you feel most comfortable. And that's about it. To move the handlebars for most of us, it's going to be the same setup as it is at the back. Just make sure that you tighten those handlebars in before you start your ride. Let me know in the comments if there's anything else that you would like to learn. If you have any questions at all, we're here to help. And I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your Thursday. This video will forever live under our IGTV. And I will also be making a blog post on our website about it, so you can always access it there. Have a good one.